say you wanted to do eyes, and we've got eyes. Now, the way I work is that the basis of the eyes moving is I've already drawn them, so they're already there. Now, if I did the same technique with the arms and legs, then whenever I move the leg or the arm, you'd see the original arm, so it has to be missing. But with the eyes, it's simpler to just put the face as it is. It's just a static drawing. And what I do is, if I wanted to do the eyes, what I do is, there's the eyes. And this is a bit of a pig. I've not really worked out exactly how to get this right. There's a thing you can do where you can make it, it's smoothing it, and the pixel edges, when you cut that out, it takes some of the grey with it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw this like this. I'm cutting it, not drawing it. This is the broken apart thing, and when it does this hatched thing here, copy that. Takes a moment on here. And then I'm going to paste it. We're going to make sure on a blank layer. Oops. And I'm going to paste it in center. There it is. Turn it into a symbol. Let's call this, which is the left. From my point of view, it's the right eye. And remember, it must be a graphic, not a button or a movie clip. And it puts it into here. And then we want to resize. I kind of get away without having to. There we are. And I have to go in fairly close for this. Again, this is the technique I'm using for the kind of pre-drawn method. I don't actually I don't draw it as is, like as if it was on a layer of see-through plastic. I actually draw it. Pre-draw these. They're not drawn in this program at all. I draw them in Paint Pro 7. Which is quite an old program. Trying to get this lined up, and it's like it's a bit of a pain, this one. You've got to make sure when you cut it out, it doesn't cover anything else up on the face, so it'll look obvious. That's close enough. So say I want to make that animate as Lara stood there talking. What I do is this line is grey, and what you do is I just create a keyframe. And then what I do is on here I have a blank keyframe, and it makes that invisible, and it comes back on like that. And then what I do then is to sort of imitate a kind of general random blinking. I put a keyframe there. I put a gap of about maybe 5 frames there. Too long, it looks like her eyes are closed. No, I've done that wrong, haven't I? The point of putting that keyframe there is that if I do a blank keyframe, it basically will go all the way to the end of the animation with their eye open. So I've got it shut, open, and it closes again. And then I do the same thing again. I do normally a bit wider than this because otherwise you'll be blinking really quick all the time. It's a keyframe, and we do another blank, another 5 frames at most. Do a blank, and this stops that running into the next one. And then what you do, just for the purposes of the video, we'll just do that. So what you end up with is we've got one eye going on here. There is a way of combining them. I can't remember how to do it. There's a thing where you can do another thing there, and then it will join them. But sometimes that's not what you want. If you want 2 legs moving, you don't want them moving in register. You want them moving independent. So it can work with eyes blinking, but it doesn't work very well with legs because no one walks like they're hopping about. So if we just play that, does that? It's basically just an on-off technique, which is winking at us. So to do another eye, you've got to add another layer. I didn't enable that, did I? Right eye. And we'll do this one, so I know what it is basically. Okay. And we'll go and get that again, and you've got to go in and repeat the same, because you can reverse these, but I prefer to do 2 separate ones. It's just a bit easier for me. This cutout thing doesn't always work very well, and it can leave gaps or crap on the edge of it. Right. And we've got make sure you're on the right layer. Paste in center. To symbol. It's a very tedious process of turning it into symbols and then lining it up. Luckily I don't have to resize these too much, because if you have to resize them it can make it more difficult to... Let me go with the... I don't want it to look like she's got a problem with her eyes being out of alignment. Oh, no, so he's done that thing there. Now I've managed to basically join them up, which you can then... But I've already done this one separate, so it might actually... No, it's not done it, okay. It does this thing, and it sometimes does things when you don't want it to do it, and you go, what's it doing that for? And it sometimes joins them together, and I really don't like it doing that. Right. I'm trying to... That's not too bad. It can be useful if... Yeah, that's close enough. So what I do then is I will reproduce... Lining it up with that, I insert a keyframe, and I insert a blank keyframe, and then we should get... Oh no, I'm going to put that one there, haven't I? Insert a keyframe, and insert a blank one there, and you should get effectively the same difference as they both close and open together. There is a way of connecting them. I can't remember how to do it. You double click or something and it does it. It does save you a bit of time, but I don't mind doing it actually manually like that. It's not a problem. Insert keyframe. When I did the thing with the technique that I used, done that wrong, haven't I? With the arms, it's sometimes when I sort of copy and paste it, it can end up doing a thing where neither eye lines up, and it's more work to straighten that out. So I just do it manual. Insert blank. So you end up with effectively Lara Croft blinking like that. It looks quite reasonably good. I mean, it's very basic. It's not Pixar level, it's not the Simpsons level, but what I find is that it's got a thing at the keyframe where they're shut, and it can be a bit annoying every frame that you come into that our eyes are closed. So we can remove that frame and then insert a standard frame, and remember to do it for the bottom one. Remove frame, insert frame, and then they're lined up and they're not closed. As soon as the scene begins, you've got her eyes are open, then they close with the blink there. So again, the mouth is a pain in the bum, and same difference you get. We create another thing, make sure we're on this one, and then paste in center, and then we get the mouth. Save to symbol, just call it mouth. And then shouldn't, if it's a bit small, I can resize it. That's close enough. And again, what I would do is if I want to bring in, this might not come out very well on here because this screen recorder isn't very good, but this actually Pentium D Dell old 5150 Dimension I'm using. Let's call this one voice. You want to put a voice in, you go voice, just call it that. I want to go into my thing. I have to import. Say I want to import it to library. This is the only way I know how to do it. Lara. Gotta. Lara. Wait a minute. Whatever, it doesn't make it matter which one I put in. And it comes up here, and it's this little speaker. And you can play it back here, but I'm going to put it into here. And I can't hear this. It does it in stages. You have to set it so... There's a setting, because if you don't set it right, and this is not a guide, there's a setting, I can't remember where it is now, where you have to get it so it'll allow you to... it will speak it in little frames, and you can preview it. Otherwise it plays the whole thing. There's a setting, I can't remember where it is. Where is it? There's a whole thing here. This. I can't remember. There's a bunch of guys. There's a channel I've subscribed, not subscribed to. I've watched, and I could put a link to that video because I'm not an expert on this. So basically, say you want to just for the purposes of editing it. I can't hear this. See where the beginning of the voice occurs there. Is this the mouth? Yep. Just rename that. Keyboard's a bit rubbish. Right. You put a keyframe. It's the same technique as the eyes. You put a keyframe there. Right. And then I put a blank one there. Closes it. So where it goes O, the mouth opens. And where it goes k of the K, put another keyframe. Put a blank keyframe.
Okay.
Wait a minute. There to there needs to be blank. Oh, that's when Lara does an impression of Camilla Luddington.
Okay.
We put another keyframe there, and between here and here. Wait a minute. Try not to get confused on this. Go there, insert a blank keyframe, and what you get is. Go again. It's open at the beginning. It's that like with the eyes closed. I remove the frame. I used to do this at the end. I remove the frame and I insert one just to get it back into alignment. And what you find is the mouth shuts.
Okay.
So what you find is that it sort of begins to look like a real person talking, or at least looks like somebody talking. I haven't censored that, so I won't go past a little bit. There's a bit of swearing in it. So wait, it goes L, the low, you go insert keyframe. I don't bother doing vowels. There's a whole bunch of stuff online about where you can do vowel like v and a and oo and all that business. I don't do that. It doesn't look as good, but it suffices. So where's the w of the what? You go keyframe. And just before we get the mouth opening on the next word, blank, and it goes shut and open again, so you get this effect where it sounds. And then of course you've got to go and go. So you go hello. What you doing, Jonah? So you go what? Hang on a minute. Gets a bit tedious. So it goes what you. I'm looking for the y of the U. Keyframe. Blank keyframe. So the d of the doing. Insert. Because I'm doing an impression and it's like makes it complicated. The J of Jonah. I've got to do this for every single word, practically. And you just go on like that, basically. Move Lara. We'll do that in the next video. I'll talk about tweening in the next video, and then I'll wrap up on that. So I'll be back in part 3.